Yes, Andrew, I need to talk to you shortly, and I am going to be booking you in this week. Those of you who are new, a very warm welcome. I thought we would do a touch base for everyone's frequency and why we're all feeling as interesting as we are. I have been pretty busy doing the astrology for both channels, so it's been quite time consuming, plus obviously with Christmas and a lot of us are doing a lot of purging and clearing out, which is very normal. Hello, love, how are you? So I'll just wait for everyone to enter the building and we will touch base with everyone in relation to why we are feeling the particular way we are. Hi, Elizabeth, how are you? And yes, don't worry, I will still be live on both channels. It'll just be a little bit different. Giggles lost her voice, which is quite amusing. Hello, Sally. Yes, I haven't forgotten you guys. I've just been very busy actually looking at the astrology and how it's going to be affecting us. And I have noticed, and I have been talking to Mark privately, you know, connected to astrology and the different transits and what's going on. There's an interesting kind of thing coming through with the collective at the moment. Oh, you and bloody chocolate, Olsen, I swear. It's like I'm having nightmares of chocolates. Okay, so the funny thing I'm seeing is in 2018, it was interesting to actually view certain pockets of people who weren't experiencing transformative frequencies. They weren't experiencing the purging as high. Now, it was very interesting in observing this factor. What I am actually seeing coming through is there is going to be an acceleration in the transformation for those individuals. Now, many of you are looking at the astrology or thinking, oh, good grief, you know, are we going to go through the same thing next year? Yes and no. Now, the way I'm going to be governing the new channel is going to be connected to astrology, connected to the aspects of communication, how we can work with the energies with the moon, with the manifestation frequencies, with the release frequencies, what house they fall in for you as a zodiac sign. Now, in this time frame between now and the 1st of January, if you can locate your true node, it would be very important, especially for your soul path as a spiritual being. Now, the way in which you can find your soul, your north node or true node is actually looking at your rising sign. Don't govern it from your traditional zodiac sign. And the reason I know this is because in my twin flame journey, I actually know both my rising sign, my twins, and, you know, other people's, right? So in energetically researching it, what I was finding is in your younger years, you will more be your south node, which is the opposite to Pisces. So, which is the opposite? I've got to think now. I know that for Cancerians, the opposite is Capricorn. So in the younger years, for those of you who are rising Cancer, you more would have been in your Capricorn frequency. Now, I'll try and do videos on that. I'll try and do them on both channels, but you'll have to bear with me because there's a lot of new videos that I've got to create in order to help you guys with this. So knowing your north node or your true node in your rising sign is very important for that path. Now, we'll get down to the anxiety and that in a minute. In relation to that, that's going to show you where you need to do the work, okay? Well, you need to stop the chocolate, Olsen, because the south node's going down, okay? You're getting me, shush, Olsen, because I'm going to get confused. It's very important. So when you're joining me on the new channel, at least when we are doing the work, you can actually look at that zodiac sign in the astrology aspect, because I had pre-recorded the videos, but hi, Luciana, sorry I haven't got back to you, Dale. But the new videos and the way from March onwards is going to be very closely connected to astrology for you guys. And that's to help you with your soul transformation. That's to help you understand what the work is that you need to do and how to reach ascension plus union. And it is governed by your north node and other aspects I'll discuss on the new channel. So bear with me if I have been off the grid and quiet, because there's a massive amount of research that needs to go into it. And I'm trying to chart through to March. Now, the transits at the moment, and the reason some of us went through a lull and we were quite tired, and that probably was just before Christmas, it's because we were energetically having an upgrade. So we weren't operating from a place of ego, especially in a soulmate twin flame journey. You actually have a descend before you ascend. So it's getting you into a repair mode, so to speak, spiritually. A lot of you also would have been clearing things out, throwing things out, becoming light, okay? So if that's what's going on with you, it's because a lot of the planets are moving through your spiritual path. You're becoming more practical with the way you're utilizing things. So anything that you've actually learned this year, you're going to be taking it forward into the new year and implementing it. Now, Pisces, we're at the halfway mark when it comes to the transit of Pisces, and I do believe it's probably going to be in its sign, in the sign it's currently in, till 2026. So that's a frequency of birth, regeneration, death, you know, so it's like the shake-up factor of things. So we're at the halfway mark, and for those of us who have been on the spiritual path for a while, it's something you will be used to, okay? So it's more you swim with the wave, not against the wave. You understand the 3D, integrating yourself and coming to a place where you're coping with it. For those of you who are third wavers, or newly awakening, regardless of whether you are or aren't a twin flame, what you will find is it will be very uneasy for you from here. I've done my brother's chart, Rebecca, we need to talk. So moving into 2019, for those of you who are just awakening, it can be very anxious and stressful. Now, some of us between now and maybe 2 weeks ago may have energetically felt sort of like a polarity, in a sense that it was like, yes, we want to leave 2018 behind, but it was almost like the shedding of that skin that we know we can no longer fit into really felt as though it was a death. Now, it is actually an end of an era and an end of a cycle, especially in the Scorpion frequency. So certain planets had been in Scorpio for a very long time, sometimes even a decade. So energetically, it really is like we're ending a decade. So it can feel like a funeral, so to speak. So letting that go, it can be old memories coming into your mind that you haven't thought of for God knows how long, and it feels quite odd. But it's also looking at different people. For those of you who are moving more into enlightenment, what you will find is you will actually start seeing people's vibrations and truth, okay? And it's more their paradigm of their truth than the, you know, whether they're operating from a place of ego, whether they're coming from a true core self of understanding. You know, if you're in that, I was researching the aspects of how to balance the masculine and the feminine. There was a very good kind of analogy for it. You know, it's directly connected to a balance. So you've got to look at your yin and your yang as the scales and the balance. When you're having to operate more on one side than the other, it's an imbalance. So it's almost like when you're getting a trigger point, deem it as a red light, stop and think. So it's being self-aware. Then, okay, do the meditation, look at it full 360. Then when it says green and you process that download, then move, but not from a place of ego, you know, from a place of your true core self, assessing the situation, but not trigger mode. Because, you know, the imbalance in the masculine and the feminine inside of all of us, which is the dark and the light, is more to do with an aspect of an imbalance of the reality or the paradigm or the belief system. But when we're governing from a place of self-awareness, we're not taking certain things as personal as we once did, and that's a very healthy place to be coming from. So again, I'll be doing videos on how to balance your masculine and your feminine on the other channel as well. It is deemed as, when it's in balance, it's deemed as Wei Wu, which is, you know, again, we do need to actually understand and make peace with our shadow aspect. And that is going to be very healthy for you moving forward into 2019, where it's not right or wrong to have a shadow aspect. It's actually about accepting yourself that all of us have a shadow aspect. All of us have a darker realm. Now, when it does, hello Perth Hills, when it does come to the frequency of transformations, some of you who are in the that's it, I've checked out of the twin flame journey, again, I do mention very regularly, and this is even connected to the collective, you can't check out of astrology, you can't check out of a transformation. What the planets highlight in each of your charts is what, with the nodes, which is part of your past life, which is the south node, and that's old frequency you've directly brought with you, or in this lifetime, old ways of doing things that perhaps were from an egoic state. Moving into your higher aspect, so even the third waivers, it's very healthy to actually look at your north node, because when you're looking at your south node, which if you want to book a reading, I can actually help you find that. What happens is working on those key areas in your south node and understanding yourself of why you're operating in a particular way and trying to integrate your north node earlier can denote you ascending and growing and reaching union a lot quicker. So the faster you are back on track and purging your past life frequency and way of being, which is history, your Chiron frequency as well, moves you into ascension and being in duality with yourself and prepared for union. Now, what you will find is your rising signs sometimes, and, you know, more often than not, you'll have some commonality with a soulmate twin flame. So their rising sign will be sometimes your birth sign. So it can polar opposite, it can directly cross. When that happens, when you're listening to readings, it can become very confusing. But you each will have a point in time to complete certain tasks and live each other's life through each other's eyes, so to speak. So that is the balance of the light and the dark in you, is that you will at some state live a way in which your twin has, and they will in a way live in the way you have, to understand the polarities between the light and the dark and the aspects inside yourselves, you know, and how you both relate to the situation. But it's sort of like an aspect of compassion to each other, to help each other. Yes. Thanks, Olsen. Trust me, my head's pretty full right now. So, ascension symptoms. Yes, some of you could have increased hunger. You are needing to get to a place where, now that your frequency is picking up, moving into 2019, very important to get your chakras aligned. Now, the interesting thing is, yes, many of us who have been on this ascension process, or this spiritual growth, if you want to look at it as a soul path, when we're understanding, when we're not operating from a place of ego, look at the chakras from that point of view. So this is your core self, right? Our chakras will always be on the lower frequency, important to balance. And the reason I'm saying that, you know, we're all talking about ascension and the 12th chakras, and yes, that's all good and well. When we come into descension, which is when we're having an upgrade, we fall into these lower chakras, and these lower chakras are always very important to be spinning correctly. Now, what I have noticed for a long time, a lot of the masculine frequencies were operating from an egoic state from the lower three chakras, okay? That's normal. I'll explain why, Fem Coach, because we're upgrading to prepare, because we're going to go into light body frequency. Probably in the next 3 days, we need to start detoxing. So try and eat high vibration foods to give you the energy over the carbohydrate-based foods. But they do actually say that feminines can gain weight moving into union. So have fun with that. Anyway, so the lower chakras, when it's coming into descension, just before you are going to have an upgrade, so that can be around eclipses, it can be around new moons, The purging moon. We'll deem it as the purging moon. The manifestation moon and the purging moon. So during the purging moon, yeah, I know you are, but that's different, Beck. Anyway, so from the lower chakras, when they were operating from a place of ego, it was due to past life, south node placement, that they needed to work on that frequency, okay? Then what also is happening is moving into 2019, what we're needing to understand is not to get into the ego and think these chakras aren't of the utmost of importance and that we can fall back down into these. If there's something we've missed, yes, we will. If we're, and again, when we collect twins energy, we can actually cross, okay? So you will at stages be in these lower frequencies as they're ascending. To keep it open, you need to weekly do clearing frequencies. Again, you can look at the transits and do it monthly, but you need to be in self-awareness to know where the blocks are coming from. Giggle needs to do throat chakra clearing, but that could be coming from her twin, okay? Just an example. So we can cross energies of what they're dealing with. There will become a blockage in an area because it's for them to utilize, not us. So pay attention to your chakras. Third eye, if you directly aren't struggling with something, it is not you, it's another frequency around you. And it doesn't have to be twin. So you actually increasing your water intake for the chakras is important because it clears and detoxifies. You can use bath salts, you can use moon therapy, you can use moon water. Crystals also for your north node should be worn. So look at the rising sign and wear the crystal of that frequency. That can promote. You can also wear the colours and you can also eat certain groups, food groups for that chakra in that house. But again, on the other channel, I'll get into that. What you're going to find is all the chakras in January really are going to be utilised because I've actually connected them to each planet transition and what at each point is going to be used so we can be in awareness. Now, I would like to warn you guys to try and be in light body frequency moving into January. Yeah, you can, but there's, it depends. If there's a blockage in the chakras though, certain things just won't work. You doing the work is what's going to work because you can do all the meditation you like. If you haven't dealt with the blockage, it's going to stay stuck. Then a Reiki session would be needed. It could be actually, you know, counseling, which is totally a separate, you know, reality to the situation. It depends on how dense that block is in that particular chakra. If it's something you know you're operating from a place of fear connected to a situation, that's a blockage and it needs to be addressed, and you being in denial about it is actually blocking your process. And when Saturn's movement comes through and it is highlighted in your chart, that choice is being highlighted to you. If you don't operate in your truth connected to that, and again, operate from looking at your Chiron, it's going to really have an issue. Cool, I'll borrow you at some stage. I'll have to interview you, Carmen. It's going to block you in a sense of spiritually moving. And then when we have the retrogrades, a tower moment would have happened in that transit. For you to address it, you'll have the meditation and the retrograde. You'll have to then implement it and fix that tower moment after the direct. Does that make sense? So when you're saying, no, this is the way it is, I just have to accept it, you're BSing in your own pocket, okay? Because the planets don't play. The planets don't play. We can pretend and, okay, let's picture ourselves as emus in Australia. We can put our head in the sand, but you can't hide. Okay, if you're hiding from your life, you're pissing in your own pocket in your own life. Don't waste your life. You have a life right here, right now. And, you know, you becoming the best version of yourself is the utmost of importance. And if you're lying to yourself, you're in a codependent frequency. He won't be able to. I've looked at his chart and I feel sorry for him. I'm sorry, Beck. You can... I'm going to be doing the charts per zodiac sign on both channels. And I'm going to be mentioning the houses it's covering. And I'm going to be mentioning the chakras. So I've done that for you, Olsen. Yes, I'd like a box of not chocolates. So yes, I will be talking about that. I'm halfway through them. I've got another half to go. And I have highlighted areas that's going to be directly connected to soulmate, twin flame paths. So yes, I've done the videos, but for the twin flame channel, don't get triggered, okay? If you see something, it's more for those of you who aren't in communication, who have spiritual blocks. I'll tell you that now. From March onwards, I will more be doing, and it's from January, February, March, I'm going to do the astrology on the Twin Flame channel, but I'm going to be governing it and doing talks connected to what you can do, what you need to understand in your own particular chart, the work you need to do, and obviously I'll still do the same things on this channel about astrology and where we need to transform. Each person's individual with union, and it depends on your chart. It depends on how well you've moved into your North Node, how well you're actually governing that. If you're purged, you will, honestly, you will come to a place you'll know when it's coming, because it'll be very natural where there will be no push-pull. You will be very calm. If you are in that curious mode and concerned about it, you're not in your own frequency. You will know, look, there's reunion and there's union. That's different. First, union on yourself needs to come through purging your Chiron, right? Working on your Chiron frequency, dealing with your North Node, not living in delusion, probably connected to, Neptune. There's a lot of aspects, but I'll talk about it on the new channel. Again, the astrology will be on this channel as well. What did he say? Yeah, where there's the frequency of that, again, look at your North Node. The North Node and the South Node, it can be taking you back in the frequency. Like I said, I was seeing transformations and endings, and I do feel for particular pockets, there is certain masculines that have left karmic situations. They're still tying those loose ends up. They have actually left the karmic energies. But again, you should have never been looking at the karmic energy as a physical person. It was an internal situation with your twin flame going on that was very separate to you, more very personally to them. Okay, does that make sense? Because it's an aspect of their transformation, because when we're operating from a place of ego and fear-based frequencies, we're in denser, lower chakras, which is your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, and probably the third eye, which is the ego. And then obviously the ego would then transcend into the throat chakra, which again would be an egoistic miscommunication interpretation of the way they transmuted frequency. So when a person is operating from their higher consciousness, they are in their yin yang, and they understand through tower moments and through truth, you're an idiot, that moving into that frequency forward is for their higher good, because it's a very suppressive energy. Sometimes we actually need to live in the denser, suppressed shadow aspect of ourselves to understand where the true light is, which is inside of ourselves. But we can't have the light without the dark, and that's the understanding we need to come towards, is that we each have dark in us, we each have light in us. But also in doing that work on ourselves is also the work we do with them. Now we need to ask her. What do you need to ask me, Michelle? He's just always in the back of my head now. It can be his frequency, but again, if you're not focused on your own life and you're more focused on him, it's going to cause a problem and it will cause a delay. If you can shift your energy into anything 3D you need to, you don't, okay, if it's a choice where you're really worried about them and you're like, oh my God, it's not even giving up. It's giving up, again, is aspect of ego, right? Because it's a belief that it was a mission. Your life should have always been your mission, really. And it's hard for us twin flames to see that in the early stages. So third waves would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's not giving up. Because that, again, is ego, and you need to look at that. Giving up is like, oh, I failed. No, you haven't failed. It wasn't about you in the first place. That's ego, okay? The energy in you, even if you were to give up, being a twin flame, if you're a true twin flame, there's no end in a sense of ascension and transformation. And if you're meant to re-meet that person will come back to you whether you like it or not. Or their lower frequency energy will come through so that you can learn and purge, okay? We all fail, but it's not wrong. It's a lesson. So that, again, is, you know, don't think of it too much like that, Danny. Understand that every transit, it's like a planet. Every transit through your twin flame journey is an aspect of your spiritual growth. It's our ego that tells us, more 3D, that it's over. It's not. It's you're having a break to have your spiritual upgrade. The connection and the reconnection comes through later. Oh, look, you couldn't give that man enough bloody chocolate to stop him, honestly. He just uses it as a deflection so that we can't talk about his twin. How's your twin, Olsen? He's going to go Yildiz. How's the twin, Olsen? How are you, Olsen? How are you, Olsen? Yeah. Okay, what did I miss? Yeah, well, I've got to admit, I felt the same thing in relation to the notion of union. It was like, ooh, especially when I was looking at astrology, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Look, you will understand how much you've learnt when you come to a place where you know when the planets are there, it's connected to weather, okay? So it's like, okay, we have a retrograde. We know to be prepared. We know we can't move things because it's like pushing shit uphill. Let's just reserve our energies, do what we can, reflect, and then manifest as we move forward. And we will learn something from it and we will utilize it as a tool. So it's more you are moving with the tide. That is like life. It's understanding we can't have the light without the dark. Yeah, but chasing them is a you problem, not a them problem. The chase around a mode is the codependency frequency. Once that ends, it's necessary, it needs to. Where you don't move, you address your issues and you allow them to address their issues. When it's divinely guided, you reconnect, and that can be worked on should that be divinely guided. But, you know, it's about you not running from yourself, because both twins are theoretically running at the same time when you look at it. Because when you're chasing them, you're avoiding yourself. When they're running, they're avoiding themselves. Okay, they're avoiding the trigger point. So technically, we're both running at the same time. We're both chasing at the same time. So it's an out of alignment frequency in the woo-wee frequency, right? So we're technically doing the same shit because it's a codependent. So you're going, can't you see the benefit in this connection? You shouldn't have to sell yourself to a point where they don't. So if they don't, then they need to then lose what it is that they actually see in this. If they can't understand what the worth is and they're not choosing it, it's because of a lack within them. Again, you can govern your own self. So if you can do the work on yourself, you won't live in fear. So we don't live in, fear is not real. Fear is an out of balanced state of being. It's believing you don't have any power. It's believing you don't have any tools to deal with your adversity. You know, are you codependent on them for your sense of self? Are you interconnected to that frequency due to past and abandonment related issues? Are you worried that if they leave, you will be left on the shelf with, hey, isn't it going to be bloody peaceful? You know, trust me, a true twin flame journey is the most friggin' horrendous journey you've ever been on your life. You enjoy that fucking holiday because you have a lot of processing to do and you've got a lot of work to do. So after a while, you become understanding to the point for you to spiritually grow and not be running and get grounded and have a stable foundation. Root chakra, your foundation. Heart chakra, do you trust people? Are you able to let people in? And yes, we should always do the work on the heart chakra. Every time we've got a breakup, every time we have a realization or a wound coming up, get back to the heart. You know, no, come from a place of non-ego, look at the bigger picture and come from a place of heart and understanding. If we can't keep our heart chakra open, we're actually preventing our spiritual growth, and that's really sad. You can't, and universe won't let you do that for long. So, you know, Saturn will be coming beating your ass going, guess what? No, that's not going to happen because we're going to pull a tower down to teach you a lesson. And then after a while, you're like, oh, I've been beaten to a pulp, you know. What do I need to look at here? And that's where my journey started transforming. And yes, one would say for the time frame of my journey, it's been friggin' long, but that's probably because I'm a stubborn soul and maybe because I was supposed to be doing something like this to learn, to be able to share, to help, you know, you doing these things. Is that work that we do on ourselves actually does. I mean, I got to a point years ago where karmic energies and the energies of twin would come through in other individuals. So it was like I was damned if I did, I was damned if I didn't. But the same frequency kept happening. Now, common denominator. Okay, so you have to then look at it and go, what's going on here? What's going on is it's not about the fact that you're attracting lower frequency. It's about you're fearing lower frequency. It's the direct mirror. So it's like, okay, certain things, if they've happened over and over again, you need to stop and you need to say, okay, now, in what way, when people are reacting in that way, is it affecting my foundation? Is it affecting my manifestation? Is it affecting my finances, my belief systems, my spirituality? Am I moving my access for another human being and placing myself second? So those are really important things to have that self-love and understanding that we actually all collectively have been in codependent relationships because we have been operating from places of fear-based frequencies, not true love. So when you get your shit together, you can actually have a real love life, but you need to then gauge with your sixth senses. Is that person operating? And we always have ego. You can't erase ego. Ego is there to help you in fight and flight. But the green light, the yellow light, you know, and the red light apply. Okay, the red light, stop. You've been triggered. Yellow, meditate. Think about how that directly relates to a past tense event, not the current event happening. Green light, proceed forward with the previous information, but assess it on the current information moving forward. Does that make sense? So it's like, don't keep dragging up the past, use the past and the ego as a tool and apply it in the given situation, but then come from the heart. Does that make sense? So a lot of us were not, okay, operating from love. We weren't. And perhaps one could say we weren't in love. It was a codependent love, a society-based love, which is second wave, is to break those paradigms down. So the more you can come into the understanding that, you know, okay, say if you're in a partnership, open adversaries. If you're choosing to be in a relationship because it serves a financial need, you are in a codependent frequency, and if it ends up landing in your house of the purging moon and Saturn and Jupiter, well, guess what? That one area is going to change in your life. Does that make sense? Because Jupiter's about expansion, Saturn's about truth. Definitely when it comes to Neptune, you know, what you're hiding from yourself, but you know to be true, but you really want to manifest to be something. Again, I'll talk about those in the chart so you can understand what could be coming on. But again, do look at your rising signs, especially, you know, even though I'm talking about the North Node and the South Node, you could probably look at both of those zodiac signs If you're feeling triggered, look at your south node and see what's going on with you. And what your higher expectation is would be your north node. Does that make sense? So cross wire energy then, but I'll discuss it in the videos to give you an idea of what zodiac sign you need to look at. And many times you'll find your rising sign directly applies to you more so than your actual birth sign, and especially as you get older. Well, the trauma is key pointing probably your south node of what happened in a previous life, which is going to be purged in this life. So it's then triggered from other 3D situations from childhood, and then it comes through in your twin flame. So theoretically, it's not your twin flame, it's you, but you can be experiencing their purging. But I feel energetically tuning into you, it's your pain. So it'll be your pain body from previous life, your pain body from childhood, and then trigger point coming from the energy of what previously, you know, transpired with the twin flame. So purge that, find the wound, then come to the heart chakra and do the work in that area. Again, if you book a reading, I can, you know, work with you and I can help you move through those frequencies and we can address those key areas. But when it comes to sort of tower moments, I would say between the 20th and the 24th of January, if that's going to happen, whatever's highlighted at the beginning of the year is something that you're going to be working towards for the next 6 months. Mid-month, what will be highlighted is what you need to end or what's going to be taken from you, if that makes sense. Yeah, there you go, doll. See what happens, and I tell you, the third eye, because I've been tuning into astrology, cross-referencing charts, the houses, how they interact, it's like, oh, God. I know you do, Jen. But your higher consciousness is telling you why. Jen. Andrew, I need to book you ASAP. It'll probably be tomorrow morning. 29 degrees. Well, the Leo, the opposite side would be Aquarius. So your shadow aspect would be Aquarius. Leo? Yeah, Aquarius. So your shadow in your younger years, depending on your age, your past life energy would be Aquarius South Node. So Google Aquarius South Node and have a look at that, and then Google North Node Leo. Okay? And then you'll see what you're needing to move towards in your frequency, Danny, what you're trying to achieve, what you need to achieve. Usually we reach our north node by 50, but we can do it beforehand, especially say if we're 25 and we're on a twin flame journey. Knowing your south node and north node helps because you can do the work quicker, so you can integrate it into your life and you know what your life path is to be, what it can be, but you can actually reach your north node a lot quicker and do the work if you're spiritually advanced. It doesn't really matter the age. It's the spiritual blockages in the chakras, you know, in your mindset, in your pain body experience, in your Chiron return, you know, all of those things. There you go. So just research the actual crossed energies of what they'll be and what they mean, and you can actually, and it's really handy if you do know like your twins. And yeah, it's quite funny because certain pockets of twins that, you know, haven't really got everything off the ground, but you know them, but you don't know all the finer nitty-gritty details. It's not like you're going to know their rising sign, so you can't really look at that aspect. But if you do, it can help you understand where they were coming from in that egoic state, south node, moving into the frequency and integrating the new of what they can in their highest life purpose achieve, which is what's going to be, which is their north node. That can tell you where they're coming into alignment and how they're traveling. Taurus is definitely going to be in it. I can tell you that much now. Gemini, yeah, they're going through a transformation in January. Virgo is having a bit of enlightenment. Sagittarius, yes, big changes. So far. Yeah, Taurus being it. Any lower frequencies that have been there, they're going to be directly addressed in the 3D. That's either from you or another person. Haven't quite done, well, I have, but I haven't done it all yet. Cancer Capricorn is transforming, but I will discuss that later. Well, Taurus is, yeah, going to be addressing the lower frequency things, but moving into the higher. It's going to be hard for Taurus because, look, Uranus is going to be in Taurus, right? Uranus is about our spiritual self, our growth, change. Taurus is very fixed. It's like, this is what feels comfortable, and God forbid I have to change this because this is my comfort zone. We got Uranus and Taurus, okay? Taurus is going to be affected in a sense that we can't keep everything the same. We can't. Nothing ever stays the same forever. So, yuck, right? Because Taurus isn't going to like it. They're going to be like, oh, shit. A lot of what is coming through for Taurus is about not looking outside of yourself, looking inside yourself. It can be trigger points from childhood to do with maybe what happened with mum and dad. Again, it can be what happened with your twin if there was cheating or karmics involved. And work-related dynamics coming through very heavily, if that makes sense. Yes, so it's either other people or you. Yeah. So for Taurus and Uranus, it does cover the 3rd house and the 6th house. So that's communication, personal ideas, ways of you expressing them, short journeys, job, personal services, health, and employees. So what's going to be changing for you is seeing where you can grow in those areas. Because Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to ask Uranus and Taurus to actually grow in that point. So you will be expanding in those areas, and it may feel uncomfortable. It might be thinking outside the box of your normal career. Just your health needs to be looked at, and, you know, it can be growth and health and different ways of doing things, more holistic ways of doing things, especially in Uranus. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'll go into the charts anyway. No, Scorpios, interestingly enough, depending on, okay, so North Node Scorpio, their careers are going to be changing big time. But it's, again, there's a lot going on there in a sense that, how would I put it? There's a shake-up for Scorpions that are connected. Now, it's either can the situation be resurrected or can it be, is it needing to be put away? So for some that are in connections, for Scorpio, especially with the way the chart's placed, my twin, no, they're not Scorpio. So, you know, it can mean huge changes connected to their home dynamic, their finances. Well, I can't do it off the top of my head now. All sun is... What did you, why, what was commented? What did he say? My twin? No. I'm Cancer. I'm Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Libra birth sign, and he is the polar opposite. So he's Cancer with Libra. Yeah. So we're like... So, and then... soulmate was Leo, Cancer Leo, so it gets very confusing. Oh yeah, you look at your zodiac sign, you don't know who they're bloody talking about. It's like but then you can look at the shadow aspect. So Cancer's shadow aspect is Capricorn. So if you perhaps were cross-referencing looking at a Cancerian and you're going, what's this Capricorn energy? The devil card coming up all the time. It's because their shadow aspect of the lower south node frequency is coming through in the reading. Does that make sense? It's just an example. But you can connect the dots. You can correlate things and understand why they're coming through. Higher frequency, you know, is is more the Cancerian aspect, lower frequency, the Capricornian aspect with the South and the North Node. So if you were looking at a North Node Libran, which is a rising sign Libran, their shadow aspect, if you're listening, say you were listening to a soulmate twin flame reading, and you hear, oh, you might be dealing with an Aries. No, that's the darker realm of your twin or soulmate. Because, so on a chart, basically, you got the circular wheel. I'll have to find a chart. I'll get the chart and I'll show you so it's explained. My back's killing me. If you only knew how messy my house gets with astrology, I've got to upgrade. Where's the chart? Bear with me. If I can find it, I probably left it in the office. You're basically crossing over the side of the house. Okay, I got it. I gotta go a long way, don't I? Could have gone through the laundry. Okay. Here we are. Now, on a chart, I've written all over it. Here's the wheel, right? On the wheel. If you were a Gemini, rising sign Gemini, what you do is on the wheel, you go directly across. So your South Node, which would be the darker aspect of you, would be Sagittarius. So it's like your rising sign ends up being the Gemini, which is your true node, your North Node. Your lower frequency of what you have to grow out of is Sagittarius. Okay, does that make sense? So a Libran North Node would be Aries. I'll read them out to you. Have you got a pen? Get a pen and I'll write them out to you. I'll write them out. I'll bloody talk them out to you and then you can write them down. Okay, so a Cancer North Node is a Capricorn South Node. Leo North Node is Aquarius South Node. Virgo North Node is Pisces South Node. Libran North Node is an Aries South Node. I'm getting dizzy. Scorpio North Node, opposite sign, is Taurus South Node. Sagittarius North Node. Gemini. I'll just write them down and I'll cut and paste them. Well, guess what? For your twin flame journey, you better do some research on it because it is very important in your twin flame journey. So just look at a video, North Node meaning, okay? Then look at a video, South Node meaning. I will do a video on each. As long as you know your rising signs, I can tell you what you need to grow into. That's all you need to know. Your rising sign is your North Node. Does that make sense? So basically you're growing into your North Node. South is lower frequency, North is higher frequency. It's the outcome you're moving towards. Don't even mention new car. 2019 denotes purchases of vehicles. Shh. Unless someone's going to donate a big hefty buck to the channel. That'll be interesting. Yeah, so as long as you know your rising sign, or your soulmates, or your twin flames, anyone you're directly connecting to, you can actually govern and see how you're transiting into your actual personal base. So if you know your rising sign, you can type in traits of my North Node Cancer, for instance, and that'll be your rising sign. And that will tell you what you need to turn into, and you need to integrate that into your life to create balance. And then when I do the videos, especially connected to the astrology, you can also look at your North Node in that astrology chart, which will be things transiting with you as well. I'm not saying we've got the cash to. I'm saying it can actually mean needing to purchase new cars, depending on what your sign is. Librans are ending a decade or 7-year. It's about a 7-year transit, ending karmic cycle. So they will be, maybe the end lag of that situation is transforming January, February, and it's moving forward. So there's the baby steps into January, February, and then it's kind of ironed out, and it's like, right, this is... No shit, it's like, I'm down for that. I don't know, fucking bad luck. It's all self-created though when you look at it. You can't like go, poor me. Oh God, you should have heard my car come, and I'm like, I'm going to get the bloody YouTube out and be emptying my car oil to do an oil change. Yes, at times it can be as well. In transits, yes. I think it was a 7-year cycle, wasn't it, Shelley? But yes, and Lilith at the moment is in Aquarius or Capricorn, I believe. Capricorn or Aquarius. I can't remember now. The chart's inside. 1 minute. January... Where is it? I haven't written it down. In Aquarius. Now, it actually moves anti-clockwise around. Those of you who have Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius or Pisces, you will change. And that's if you know. I mean, you don't have to know. Obviously, there'll be collective frequency. It'll change because the way in which we assert ourselves and change will be different. I'd have to look at your chart. Well, you wouldn't want to just look at sex. I mean, because that's just... Yeah, it's looking... Capricorns this year is going to go through a lot of changes. Definitely a lot of changes. So... I did see a lot of legalities connected to Capricorns moving into 2019. So any loose ends and tying up of situations, family-related dynamics, contracts. Yeah, I mean, if I was you, I would want to just focus on that because it wasn't looking fun. I mean, I understand. It was not looking fun. Merry Christmas, Divine Feminine. So will we Librans finally be getting the happies? Most of us will be actually dealing with our career. I'll be honest with you. If we can keep us balanced and grounded, again, it depends on your North Node, you know, what your rising sign is and what's happening there. Financially speaking, yes. Creating healthy boundaries, yes. Being open to transformations, yes. Movements, like I said, for those of you, soulmate, twin flame path, communication, anywhere from, well, I did say for some of you, karmic endings, which was the Scorpionic season ending, was the karmic ending. Shifting signs into Sagittarius was the abrupt tower moments, for many moving over. So that's where feminines would have felt very fatigued because of the death of ego with that frequency and the direct 3D dynamic that was being dealt with. But it was really shifting from October all the way through to the end of the year. But again, as I mentioned before, a lot of people were coming to a place. My Capricorn daughter is waiting to board a plane in Australia. Oh. Yeah. Can't remember what I was saying now. Yeah, so the towers as per se have come down, but the delay in the communication will be through the fact that they're trying to recollaborate and balance. So as for the communication, if you haven't been in communication, it's due to the fact they're dealing with 3D related dynamics, getting grounded prior to communication, addressing the truth. But then the truth I feel for a lot of masculines was probably from June, July. They were in awareness of as for the transformations, it, you know, takes some time. So January, February, March, big pocket of tower moments from April to the end of the year. Now, weather can be extremely erratic through the entire year, but the two pockets would be moving from here, like I mentioned in the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter posts, more earthquakes, which there already had been, and I was saying moving into Christmas. I was also mentioning earthquakes, volcanoes. There can be disasters as well, but it is connected to the planets. Now, as for the descension ascension, be prepared in a sense of between the 19th and the 24th for shifts energetically. So you think your life's going a particular way because you're just being in the moment, and bang, energy can come in, communication can come in, changes can come, change in direction can come. Trust that anything that is ending around that time, you're safe, okay? Just trust in the process. There's a bigger reason. North Node, Cancer, so you need to be more Cancerian, but your lower frequency, when you're getting triggered, will be coming from the Capricorn, the South Node, so you can actually govern it from there, okay? Did you go and look? Or did you know already, Luciana? My North Node's Cancer. South Node Capricorn. I was like, that makes sense. Usually we're needing to come to a place where, I don't know how they explained it. It's like coming to a place where you can actually create healthy boundaries. Integrate. I do recall writing on the back of the Cancers. Yes. Did I write it? No, it was on the other page. I'll mention it in the videos anyway. Your last monster was a Cancer. And Cancers are fine, providing they can find their yin and yang. You know, if they can just be okay, like it's almost like they just need to be okay with themselves, and they do give a little bit too much, but then it can come out as sputum. It's like, listen, Linda, I'm doing too much here, you're triggering me, and it's just an unfair balance, but they do it anyway. But it's really almost like taking on, and that's probably why I always look at it as needing to get the Libran frequency, the balance, you know, because yin and yang is the perfect balance. We really need to, listen, Linda, get to the balance. Create the healthy boundaries. Understand that the frequencies that you experienced with your twin flame or towards your twin flame will come through in other people. So you'll be like, why is this situation that tested me in my journey now coming through in other people? Because it's to prepare. It's also to give you a test run. Like you go, you know, you've been at school all year, you've had your education, and then the implementation of it, and the test is coming, and are you going to pass? Can you pass that test? Can you actually create that healthy boundary? Can your yes mean yes and your no mean no? Can you actually place yourself as the number one? You know, if you can't fine-tune yourself by you helping another person, and I always say this, especially in a twin flame journey, check in with yourself when you are, it's good to be comprehending the other person's point of view, but if you're trying to help them see or help them understand, that's not something you can do. So you've always got to check in with yourself. Am I in alignment? Are they? Am I being their doctor, or am I in alignment for a partnership? So you've got to choose your poison. Are you here to be a carer, which is a codependent frequency? Salam alaikum. Or are you, you know, becoming the person's partner, which is an equality basis? So it's, do you know what I mean? I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Yeah. Oh, yeah, no joke. My daughter's testing me at the moment, which I know was part of the aspect of me actually standing firm, holding my ground. That's very nice. Yeah. Well, look, everything we learn through situations is for a bigger purpose, and it's a bit like a toolkit, you know, we take it with us, so, but we can feel, you want a car, don't curse yourself, it'll be here before you know it, and then you'll be up shit creek. Understand that universe will give you everything you need in divine timing. So it's like, okay, yes, I'm going to have that, and then just release it. Does that make sense? But if you're like, how am I going to get it? Ego, just calm your farm. Big shout out, Lauren. Calm your farm, peoples. Don't worry about it, Sully. It's, again, heart is different to codependent. If it is in their higher good, if they've entrapped themselves, it'll come up in their chart and I'll be able to tell you. So come join the channel. Twin Flame Alchemist to Union. And I will be doing, if I have to, I'm going to release the videos on the 1st, only because, and that's on the Twin Flame channel, because I have to get those videos recorded and there's a lot of information. But it's going to be useful to you to know what each section is governing. Now, if I have to, I'll go live. And then that way you'll understand and I'll be able to interpret it. You can ask questions, but I'll do my best, okay? Because I've got to put the astrology on both channels. I just bitten off more than I can chew. So at the moment, it's literally for both channels, 100 videos. So that's an awful lot for one person to do. So I've got to try and find that balance. Again, you know, then the astrology on top of it is additional. So that's another 25. And then the live. So that's a lot, you know. So I'm changing. I've already pre-recorded January and February for the Twin Flame Path, right? But March onwards, it's going to be very different. You're still going to get the astrology on top of those videos. Don't get triggered by the videos if it says they're not communicating, you know, because the toolkit which I'm providing, which is the astrology, is something you can navigate from. And then as I get, you know, the psychic downloads, I'll bring them to you. I can record them like that, providing I'm ahead. If I'm not ahead, it becomes problematic and I can't actually chase my tail. I was always 4 months ahead. So I've been moving into Christmas, New Year's, etc. I've been fiercely trying to balance personal life, the videos, and, you know, all the rest of it. But it will be changing in a sense that they're very brief, they're snippets, but the astrology is going to help you understand your romance house and the and obviously as I get psychic downloads. Now, if there's a lot of videos being shared of a particular zodiac sign and they're liked and they're commented on, I may do an update in that energy depending on, you know, what's going on in the transit. Hello, beautiful Laurie. How are you? I was talking to Giggle and I was like, yes, I haven't been live for a while. I should probably go live to update everyone as to the collective energy. How do I access the channel? On one of the last Twin Flame videos, I have actually put a link, but in the community tab, there is a link in there as well. So there's actually a picture in the community tab on Yildiz readings of the new channel. Scroll down and there's a link there. But I can always after put it under here for you. It's Twin Flame Alchemist to Union. Yeah, deep breathing. But yes, being light body frequency moving into January. The videos on Yildiz readings will be open on the 29th. They're already done and ready to be, you know, released sort of thing. You found it. But yeah, as for the live Twin Flame updates, they will be on the other channel. If you prefer them on here, tell me. I just wanted to keep some sense of balance when it comes to the two mediums, so that I can create the toolkits on that channel and I can do like romance readings on this channel. And again, for those of you that are wanting to then go on a soulmate path, they'll more be on this channel. But I can also discuss that aspect in your chart and through your transformation and the tools that you can have for your own personal transformation. So it's not just going to be one of, hey, I want to get in union with twin. It's really about the work for you, as well as key pointing potentials, possibilities, transformative energies, which is going to be very handy for you to understand in your twin's chart. Does that make sense? So you'll see where they're operating from, be it ego or be it fear-based frequencies. You'll actually see the transition of their changes. Oh, thank you, Shelley. My little angel. I also will be, Darry has kindly suggested to do a podcast, which is Moon and Cancer. So we will give you the updated information of the podcast. I'll also at a later date be collaborating with various people on this channel, as well as I'll get healers in. I might try and hoik Carmen over and we can discuss certain elements. So whoever's interested, feel free to PM me or... And again, when you are booking a reading, understand that due to the fact I tune in on the day, don't send me emails. The way you do it is when you purchase the reading, the notification will be coming through. Then what you can do is message me connected to that. So I'll touch base with you. Basically, let the booking go through. I will inbox you and I'll say, what would you like me to cover? And then you can message me on that, because I don't actually cross-reference into the email as per se, because I have too many bookings to do that. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah, well, I'll be with Mark and we'll be doing, obviously, you know, the astrology aspect of things. We'll be sharing that, but I'm going to try and get it so it can stream on all the media. And then we can have different people, you know, and then if you're watching my Facebook, it'll be on there. It'll be on my Instagram. It'll be on my Twitter. And you can actually get connected that way. Okay? And then, yes, there's going to be more updates on Instagram. I'll probably put ascension information on certain channels. I may go, okay, on this date, this is what we're going to experience. But it's just, you know, really trying to do the networking, obviously, with different individuals. But if you follow the new channel with the astrology aspect of things, looking at your nodes, obviously booking readings when you're blocked and you need to learn how to do YouTube. Oh, God, it's taken me 2 years. It's a friggin' nightmare matrix. I'm reapplying the Saturn frequency of the things I needed to change this year. So it's a learning curve. But yeah, I think the thing is, especially with, how do you put the changes that YouTube has, you do have to constantly change and upgrade. You know, some people have actually left, similar to the Leo King, and he's doing something very differently. But, I mean, God, I could probably do education tools on bloody YouTube now with the things I've learnt. I could do a secondary, third, fifth, sixth business on that. So if you do have a YouTube channel and you are hitting a snag, you know, you can come through and I will kindly share that information with you. Oh, you'll be fine, Mark. Mind you, no, you won't, because I looked at the Virgo chart. It's looking pretty shitty. Have fun, Mark. Poor Mark. He's like, no, Yildiz. I was reading him the astrology. He's like, oh, fuck. No, Virgos are going through a spiritual transformation. Virgos are actually very giving, but there's certain houses that are highlighted where, you know, it's almost like you've got to ask yourself the question, where have you been putting other people first, or allowing other people's belief systems to directly impact your belief system? Govern from your own belief system. Don't hit a snag when it comes to the communication. Don't end your dreams just for other people. And it's for those of you who have done that and you're not really, you know, advancing to that point where you're really reaching the stars, you've got to ask yourself why. Saturn's going to ask you to balance several areas, which is your family, your work, and your spiritual growth. I don't know. I'd have to go check, Olsen. Possibly. You have to ask me a scientific question when I'm fucking tuning in, don't you? I'm like picturing a toilet going in the opposite direction. I think they do, actually. Yes, I am, but I need to get the videos recorded, and I'll probably start that probably around Derry and I are talking in January in relation to the podcast. And I mean, I could off the bat just do podcasts, but see, there was a lot of tools I wanted to create on the new channel that I had sort of mentioned that I would create on this channel. So I've got them all there, a pile this high in a sense of videos, but if I'm able to get the videos ahead and then I can backtrack and I can do, you know, key toolkits we can actually use. Obviously I've got them in my head, so if you book a reading I can give you the tools to actually deal with any blocks you have, anywhere you need to do the work. It's handy, but for you to actually access it on a regular basis and check in with yourself, it's handy to have them there. But as for the On the Couch series, as soon as I can actually get that up and running, I will do that, where it will be several people talking, and it will be, like I said, Moon and Cancer, obviously, Mark. I've offered the Fem Coach, and there's different people, Giggle as well. There's lots of people I'll be talking with, and that'll be in relation to perhaps astrology, blocks. Again, I will get it to the point where those of you who have booked readings, I may actually offer you, if you're wanting to actually join. During a podcast, what I might do is people in the audience, or avid followers, so to speak, I will actually give you an opportunity to come on live and ask questions. So I'll connect you in to the actual video. That will be like a video link with myself and other people and yourself, and you can ask questions and we can spiritually work with you. So we can grab subscribers and actually place you on the video should you wish to, but it'll be those of you who are either subscribed or have purchased a reading and your avid followers, you know, I will do that on that occasion. Merry Christmas, honey. Did you like my Christmas pictures, did you? But yes, we will be talking about it. Hello, Libra Infinity. How are you, gorgeous? Is twin behaving? And you're like, you did. Were you amused by it, were you? Yes, my family's interesting, I tell you. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Happy New Year. Prepare your chakras for January. Get into light body frequency fluid. Try and flush your system, detoxify. Your energy's going to pick up. Don't stress, it's transforming. Let them sort the fence. It's astrologically speaking, it's, yeah, 3D, we might be triggered, but what we're needing to move out of, it's moving. You're at the beach. Good. Purge that crap, girl. Mind you, I don't know if I'd want to be near the beach. I did say by 2019 July I want to be away from the beach. It's like, I don't know, this weather. I just want to get away from the beach. Love you too, Mark. Light body frequency, fluid, chakra clearing. Let it go, Derry. Let it go. And prepare and know everything's going to change. Salt water will detoxify you, but get out of your head. Be more in the moment. Presence is important. If you're purging, it's because it's an end of an era, okay? Especially for those of you who are Scorpion rising, it's going to be tough as shit for you. Moving into Sagittarius as well, yes, the transformative of the planet's shifting. It's going to feel uneasy for you all. So those key signs might be feeling a bit topsy-turvy. Other zodiac signs that may be feeling it. Cancer's pretty quiet at the moment, but I think they're dealing with 3D related things. Anyway, I'll go into it in January. But 29th, the videos on this channel will be open. Obviously, if you're needing to make a booking, get in quick, because there is going to be a tower moment mid-month. So if you're wanting to make a booking before the tower moment and you want to feel grounded, strongly suggest after that fact you have that booking in place so that you can get grounded if you get triggered. Do understand we have the partial eclipse on January moving in, so it can be slight tweaks and changes, but the charts are going to dictate what you're going to be working on for 6 months, okay? So the areas that will be highlighted and what you're directly dealing with at a 3D nature will come up in the charts. And love and light, guys. Try and keep grounded. Don't get too triggered by the 3D. Many of you off the bat that are in the release mode and you're okay and you're just in your qualm. You're like, you know, peace out. I'm just doing my thing. Potential of communication, okay? Because you're released. You're in your own frequency. You're allowing things to naturally unfold the way they are. If you get triggered, you know, in communication, remember there's slight tweaks in January, the beginning point. A lot will be highlighted of what directly needs to be let go of, changed, purged around the 20th to the 29th. And that can be like transformative planets. Okay? As for the twin flame download psychically, I will do them live on the other channel, as I always have. But for many of you, I feel connections will happen anywhere between January and March, as I said. But don't be surprised if even now. It can come in at any time now for those of you who are in the second wave. Why is January 4th significant partial eclipse? Yeah, moving into the partial eclipse on the 6th. Manifestation moon, solar eclipse. Yeah. It's not bad, though. It's not actually aspected as bad. It's more, it's going to highlight what you can change, but it's the energy of what you'll be working on for 6 months. So, yeah. Yes. But yes, we will be raising our vibration, so it will be an upgrade, a descent to the ascend, so to speak, and that'll be happening in that shift time frame. And yes, do pay attention to the weather, as I mentioned. Have food, water, extra. You should always have a backpack prepared. The link is further up, but I'll put it underneath. It's Twin Flame Alchemist to Union. But yes, the erratic weather can come during those cycles. And that can, don't be surprised if we have a lot of shifts, planetary speaking, when it does come to national disasters. But I'm also seeing a trend coming through that could be where we're looking at a codependency on the grid. And we're looking at more sustainable ways in which we can actually expand, okay? So that can be with agriculture, it can be with hydroponics and just ways financially, collaboration with different people. Changes really when it comes to the way we actually do things, but it can be working together with the team, but really understanding where we have the power to do things. Anyway, I'll talk to you a bit later. On the 18th, it's not too bad. It's just she might feel a bit triggered. It's just don't have operations around that time, that's all, because you'll go in looking like you and come out looking like, I don't know, Play-Doh. She's taking a cruise in a week. It depends on her chart. Anyway, love and light. If you need a booking and you want me to tune into yours, feel free, and I can help you work through your twin flame journey or your ascension and your spiritual transformation. I psychically can tune into you on the day, which is handy. Definitely if you're thinking about 1,000 things at once, that's going to come through in your reading. So it can be quite distorted at times because it's your way woo is out of balance. Mwah, wholesome. Love and light, guys. Look after yourselves. Happy New Year. Let's bring it in.